Welcome back to RallySlide, third part of the vlog from Rally Nuraghi Vermentino. Day 1 of the rally. Stay tuned.
After the test session and the recce, the real action began on Friday with the first day of the rally and the shakedown. In the shakedown I managed to do 4 runs, and there were surprises there as well. In the shakedown, which is only a test run before the rally, if you don't know what it is, you just practice with your car, see if the pace notes are fine. It's not actually considered a part of the rally. No timings are taken. So, you don't expect to find accidents. But in Sardinia, things are different. Already on the second run in shakedown, I saw this. On the right, a car from my category, a Peugeot 208 Rally 4, already stranded, with something broken. I didn't know what it was, but it already showed me how difficult the rally in Sardinia was, and even before the competition, drivers were already out of the event. But I did manage to do the 4 runs, and I learned that way about the pace notes and the car. And I learned how tricky the rally can be, as the sand in the shakedown stage changed immensely, sometimes very grippy, sometimes like ice. Now it was time to begin the real rally. After the ceremonial start, going on the ramp, I went to the first stage, Tula, and it was a very tricky stage. Going to the start line, I prepared to start the first stage of the rally, and already 500 meters to the start, right again a surprise. Just 3 or 4 corners into the first stage, I already saw another competitor from my category, as you will see here on the side of the road, out of the rally. And that already scared me, because if in just the shakedown, and already just a few corners into the first stage, already 2 competitors from my category are out, how a rookie like me will ever survive this rally? So, I started to take Tula a bit more cautiously. Slightly too cautiously. I took the stage very slowly, in some sections barely pushing the car and switching gears way too early. As you can see also from this crest, I was very gentle, something you actually should not do when you drive on gravel. And as a result, the time was terrible as well, having finished just the first stage nearly 2.5 minutes away from the class leader, as you can see here. So, at the regroup, I sat with Fabio on the onboard to see what exactly was wrong, and I noticed a few things. The first thing was, as I said before, was that I was switching gears way too early. The car only has 3 cylinders, the 208 Rally 4, which means that you have to rev it, even if it has an anti-lag system and a turbocharger. And the second thing was that I was underestimating the car's ability. Yes, Rally 4 cars are still relatively close to road cars, but also on gravel, with gravel setup and tires, they still have much greater ability than any of your road cars, even if it includes a Mitsubishi Evo. Here in this specific section you can even hear Fabio telling me to push the car a lot harder than what I did. And in the stage itself, every time there was a deep downhill, or a part with a lot of rocks, I was taking it very slowly, as if I was driving a road car, as I didn't really know the abilities of a Rally 4. And as before, as I mentioned, as I already saw drivers retiring, I was driving way too slowly and too carefully. We saw it, and he told me that even if I just took some of the sections a bit quicker and using the gears correctly, I could cut a minute off my time. So, after going back from the remote service to do the stage again later in the evening, I was a bit more confident and was eager to try what I knew now. So, the second stage started, the second run through Tula. This time I was a lot more confident, and you can even hear it here in the video that I'm revving the engine a lot more. Now, before you say that I could switch gear ratios, actually in the Rally 4 category, gear ratios are fixed, so that wasn't even an option. I just understood that I had to keep the car in a very small rev range, which is near the limiter as much as possible, as you can see even here in this hairpin. After the rally I actually saw that on the second run to Tula, already at the start of it, at the first part, I was at best 20 or 30 seconds quicker, just thanks to using the gears correctly. So, the time was a lot better, and I also felt very good with the car, and even a bit better with the pace notes. But then, a disaster. As you heard, I was saying something to Fabio, and that something was that the brakes were finished. They were broken. In fact, the pedal went all the way to the floor, and I had no braking pressure, and that made things really scary, just before a very big downhill, as you see here. So, I right again had to drive very carefully. In fact, at this point, I was only concerned about reaching the finishing line, as I didn't even know if the car will last, especially in a rally like this. And having seen, as you can see here, another gyro type from my category with the same car, I right again panicked a bit and wondered if this rally might have been a mistake to take part in. So, I managed to reach the finish of the stage, but as you can see here, only just, as on this corner, the brakes are gone and also the handbrake. Only just I kept the engine alive and didn't stall it and reached the finish line. And even with a brake problem, I was around 40 seconds quicker than my first one. Just imagine what I could have done with working brakes. Also thanks to the fact that Fabio is a local boy who knows every stone and competed many times in this rally, I felt comfortable to take many more risks than I otherwise would, as he knew the conditions and knew where I could push and maybe where I should have backed off a bit. Then there was the bigger problem, the service park. In the service park, at the end of the day, there were only 30 minutes to fix the car, and I didn't know how big the damage was. But it must be said thank you to both Christian and Paolo, the mechanics, who managed to fix the problem. And also on time. In rallying, if you leave a service park a minute late, you receive a 10-second penalty, which could have been critical, but thankfully they did the job in the 30 minutes that we were allowed, so no penalties were taken. Then we went back to the hotel at the end of the day to look at the onboards from the recce for the second day of the rally, which was the last one. Want to know what happened there? Like and subscribe to the channel and you will know anything from what was a very fascinating rally and a very fascinating day. Thanks for watching and goodbye.